again, this is a film that you're probably going to have to seek out, and it's quite a hard sell. So stick with me, okay?
Okay.
So it's a story about basically people who are involved in ultra sort of fast trading, and okay, so the best way to describe it.
Ultra fast trading.
I'll do it as a plot. So basically, so Jesse Eisenberg is a trader who essentially becomes an entrepreneur. And you remember when Jesse Eisenberg was in Social Network, and he had that kind of nervy. Aaron Sorkin was talking about, you say everything, but you say it faster because you want to get everything in.
Yes.
And he had that kind of nervy, slightly nerdy, slightly edgy, slightly difficult energy. So he's a trader. He's working in a big organization, and he decides to head out on his own. He's called Vincent, and he gets his boffin-brained cousin Anton, played by Alexander Skarsgård, who they've done an absolutely brilliant job on making not attractive, making him into a person that actually you're looking at everyone and go, oh, heavens above, that's who that is. And he is somebody who is a kind of an inventor and a whiz, somebody who is thinking of new ways of doing things. And he basically bullies him into leaving the company and going off with him on a very, very high-risk venture. The high-risk venture is that he has decided that he is going to run a cable from Kansas in a straight line to New York, because doing so will enable them to get the information from one exchange to another in 16 milliseconds as opposed to 17 milliseconds. And the title is, somebody says, well, what is 16 milliseconds? He says, well, it's like the beating of a hummingbird's wing. That's why the hummingbird thing. And this will give them an edge over other traders that will be just enough, a fractional edge, that you'll be able to leap ahead of other traders and make trades that they can't make. And this will immediately start to turn a profit. But it's all on fractions of a second. And the only way it can work is if they actually manage to dig this straight line trench running from point A to point B through inhospitable terrain that involves private properties, mountains, rivers, whatever it is, has to go in a straight line. And also that Anton actually figures out how to shave one, point, whatever it is, millisecond off. So it goes from 17 milliseconds to 16 milliseconds off the system that they have. Meanwhile, Summer Hayek's Ava Torres, for whom they previously worked, will stop at nothing to stop them.
Everything in that head is ours.
No, it's his. This is a free country.
That part of his brain belongs to us.
No, free country.
Do you even know why you're doing this? Because I know that this stupid idea cannot possibly be yours.
Okay, you got the letters.
I
It's
even
done.
hired
Okay.
you, this despicable. So you could have a pet.
Oh, well, I need bigger challenges.
Why?
I'm sick of just patching things up and fixing these small, tedious problems on your line. It's a shitty design in the first place.
Yeah, it's a shitty design in the first place. Yep,
Is it
sorry.
some kind of tantrum?
We are on to bigger and better things.
I don't
Thank you,
understand.
shitty design.
I know that we can just break the walls of perception
Okay,
together.
what the hell does that mean? Come on, let's go.
Anton!
It's fucking creepy. Let's go.
You're about to cross a very thin line, and you will regret it. I'll give you 1 second to snap out of it. Come back to me.
You can hear Tom Hayek is enjoying the hell out of that role. And actually, it's a very enjoyable turn to watch. So the subject matter sounds potentially very dry. It's about running a cable in a straight line in which you can shave a millisecond off a trading thing. But actually, the drama is increasingly gripping. It kind of becomes a thriller. And it reminded me of, on the one hand, it's a story about an obsession. So you think of things like Fitzcarraldo and and Herzog. That idea about you have dedicated yourself to doing something that you have decided to do, despite the fact that these practical odds keep getting in your way and telling you stop doing it. So on the one hand, it's about that. It's also about issues of family loyalty, the way in which people can be bullied into doing something by somebody else, about the kind of corrosive nature of personal obsession, but also the kind of cracked nature of inspiration. When you have an idea that is quite brilliant, but is also massively impractical, but maybe is also quite brilliant at the same time. And the central character, as played by Jesse Eisenberg, is completely driven by this vision that he has to do this thing that will make this tiny, tiny, tiny difference in information transmission, that he thinks and it basically becomes his life's work, to the point that he is willing to put his own life in danger to pursue it. So it's got a kind of satirical feel to it. There's a sort of tragicomic underlaying to it. I thought it was really gripping. It's got a terrific score by Yves Gilmour, who I didn't know before. It reminded me a little bit of when Kelly Reichardt made Night Moves, which again, Eisenberg, was another one of those little films that came out and didn't really have a very big theatrical release and kind of got lost. But ever since then, I keep bumping into people saying, that movie was actually really good, wasn't it? And I suspect the same is true of Hummingbird Project. It sounds deeply unappetizing, but in fact, it was really enjoyable to watch. And I said tragicomedy, but also it's about obsession in a way which I really like, because I do like that, like Tucker the Man and His Dream, the Coppola film. I like that idea, and that's why I like Herzog. I like filmmakers who make a film about the madness of obsession, the grasping for something that seems completely intangible, and yet it's just out of reach.
So it's more about obsession than it is about trading?
Yes, absolutely. It's not about trading in the same way that Diego Maradona is not about. Do you remember Arbitrage?
Yes, Richard Gere.
Yeah, okay. That wasn't about trading. That was about characters on that kind of knife edge, and it's like that.